So far, I've only talked about relatively big zoos on this channel, but since we now have reached more than 5,000 subscribers, I want to try and see if you are also interested in smaller parks. Because to be honest, when it comes to really small parks within Germany, I'm just not sure if it's worthwhile for me to translate them. I mean, you already clicked on this video, that's a start, but if you want to see more like this, please give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment. Let's push it a little for the algorithm so that I can see where this video goes and what potential videos like this have. Thank you so much. And with that being said, let's get into it. Although this time around we definitely don't need to hurry to get this video down to an acceptable length, it's gonna be sweet and short. Because the so-called Tiergarten Thum is really an absolutely tiny park. And yet, or perhaps precisely because of that, it's a super interesting topic for me. In recent years, quite a bit has been invested here, and the result is an exemplary case of what you can achieve with a small park if you put a bit of money into it. The town of Thum itself has a population of only about 4,900 and is located in Saxony, or more precisely, the beautiful Ore Mountains. That also means it's very close to the Czech border, and if you're from Chomutov, it's literally just an hour away. Despite the town's small population, this animal park has been existing for quite some time, since the best days of my life in the summer of '69. In 1970, the first swans were even handed over by Heinrich Date, the iconic longtime director of Berlin Tierpark. Today, the Swan Pond, home to 2 black swans among others, remains a very distinctive and idyllic part of the park. And in terms of space, you could say it's already the largest enclosure, as the entire park covers only about half a hectare. It's clear that the town, together with funding from the state and federal government, has invested quite a bit, as you can already see at the beautiful designed entrance area where visitors can enter for free. You might have noticed that prairie dogs appear in the park's logo, so it's only fitting that their enclosure is located right behind the entrance. It's obvious that this enclosure has been newly designed, and in my opinion it turned out really well. On the other side of the path, however, the renovation wasn't yet complete at the time. It looked like outdoor terrariums would be placed here. Next, you come to a small but charming aviary that houses a colorful mixed community. Here you'll find not only lovebirds, but also zebra finches and budgerigars. By the way, in German they are called Wellensittich, which translates to waves parakeets. We'll save this walk-in aviary for last, but don't worry, you don't have to wait for long because this park isn't very large. Another highlight is the enclosure for raccoons, and although it's quite naturally small, it's very well designed for both the animals and visitors, much better than the old raccoon cages that were here before. There are also 2 older aviaries still in use as relics from the past, but they now only house snowy owls. Since the path currently ends here, you'll need to turn back to the walk-in aviary, the absolute highlight of this animal park. This aviary is home to a colorful mix of various bird species. On the ground you'll see golden pheasants. You can spot different parrot species, such as the Australian king parrot. These here are red-fronted macaws. There are also lories living here. And then there are also grey parrots. One of the grey parrots is especially tame. You can tell it probably came from private ownership. The aviary covers about 200 square meters, is up to 6 meters high, and is beautifully designed. It offers the birds a great habitat, and since it's walk-in, provides visitors with a fantastic experience. Honestly, it reminded me a lot of this exhibit called Aralandia at the Wuppertal Zoo because of the steel frame and netting design. And since I count Aralandia among the very best new zoo enclosures of recent years, it's a big compliment to say that Tiergarten Thum has basically created a small Aralandia. That impressed me a lot. I think many much larger zoos would envy such an aviary. And accordingly, I'm really curious what will be developed in the back part of the park. At least when I visited, there was still an area with some farm animals, but it wasn't really accessible anymore. I could of course absolutely imagine something like a petting zoo will be created here. I also expect that the current all aviaries will still be modernized, but even as it is now, Tiergarten Thum is for me a very positive example of what can happen when money is invested in modernizing a small animal park and why such an investment can be worthwhile instead of just closing everything down. So if you know of a zoo where this is a discussion, maybe point them to Tiergarten Thum. Because having a small gem like this in the middle of a small town like Thum enhances the town's value, both for locals and as a destination for visitors. Let me know your thoughts on Tiergarten Thum and its modernization in the comments, and also let me know, are there any small animal parks or zoos you know of that would deserve such a modernization? In Germany, for example, there's this place called Tierpark Grimmen, which also has a very ambitious master plan. Maybe that's another park I could talk about here if you like videos like this. Once again, if you do want me to cover more small parks from Germany, thumbs up, leave a comment, and of course subscribe if you haven't already. As for smaller parks from elsewhere in the world, I will definitely cover them here in English. There it will be more of a question if I also need to cover them in German. Oh, and by the way, I will probably start an English Patreon very soon. I have one in German since like 2021, I think. So if you're curious about that, stay tuned. And with that being said, thank you for your attention. Have a nice day. See you soon. Or as we say in Germany, Kleinvieh macht auch Mist. Vielleicht. Schauen wir mal.